Today, I will be ranking the top CS2 player from every country in the world, starting with Brazil. This is 32-year-old Gabriel Toledo, also known as Fallen. He has won over $1.2 million from Counter-Strike tournaments. Fallen was also the sniping in-game leader for the legendary two-time major-winning Luminosity/SK Gaming roster. It's important to tell you the honorable mentions from Brazil, like Coldzera, Fur, and Cacerado. But the reason I went with Fallen is because in this video, I'll not only be looking at a player's current skill in CS2, but their previous accomplishments in CSGO, and their cultural impact on the game as a whole. Fallen is known as the godfather of Brazilian CS. Combined with his insane aggro, shotgun style of opping, and strong leadership, he put Brazil on the map. During the LG SK peak in 2016, Fallen was voted the #2 player in the world and lifted numerous Tier 1 trophies. And since then, Fallen has hung around in the Tier 1 space and has led his teams to an impressive 17 straight majors. Speaking of making majors, how about reaching 3 straight major finals in CS2? Robin Cool, aka Rops, stands as the greatest player in Estonian Counter-Strike history. The 25-year-old superstar climbed from FPL all the way to 1.6 million in tournament earnings. With 7 consecutive HLTV top 20 appearances, 2 Grand Slam victories, and 2 major championships under his belt, he's also earned EVP status at 19 big events, which barely scratches the top 10 on our list. So stick around to discover who holds the most big event EVPs, because the answer will definitely surprise you. His elite lurking ability, razor sharp mechanics, and incredible game sense has established him as one of the world's most consistent and skilled riflers. Back in 2017, teenage Robs dominated FPL so thoroughly that Counter-Strike legends actually accused him of cheating. So he literally flew out to face its London headquarters to prove them wrong in person. In CS2, Robs has reached the finals of every single major so far. And after his transfer to Vitality, he finally captured that elusive CS2 major title. And this move is shaping up to be one of the greatest transfers in esports history. With no signs of slowing down, they're establishing what might be the first true dominant era in Counter-Strike 2. When we talk about dominant eras, we think of Astralis. Denmark's greatest Counter-Strike player is undoubtedly Nikolai Reitz, aka Device. With nearly 2 million in prize earnings, Device ranks among the most successful and decorated players in Counter-Strike history. His resume speaks for itself. First ever Grand Slam winner, 4-time major winner and 2-time major MVP, 9-time HLTV top 20 player, 5-time top 3 finisher, countless S-tier trophies, and the star player on the most dominant team of all time. Device became synonymous with consistent op plays. In CS2, Device hasn't quite recaptured his former dominance, though he remains Denmark's strongest player. The past 3 to 4 years have been challenging, marked by burnout, medical issues, and even experimenting with in-game leading. Astralis has missed 5 consecutive Counter-Strike majors, a shocking decline for a region that once ruled the scene. And speaking of regions that have fallen from grace, we have Sweden, and no player better represents the state of Swedish Counter-Strike than the legendary Freddy Johansson, aka Crims. During Fnatic's golden era, Crims was a key player for their success. He was an absolute rock on defense, consistently getting 2 frags as the B-site anchor. He has over $1 million in prize earnings, 2 major championships, and 5 HLTV top 20 appearances. Perhaps most remarkably, he's one of the longest tenured players in CS history, approaching nearly 9 years in the iconic Fnatic jersey. Crims' longevity is truly extraordinary. He competed at the very first CSGO major back in 2013 and was still playing at CS2 majors in 2024. Unfortunately, the CS2 transition has been challenging for the Swedish veteran. He's found himself grinding in the tier 2 scene, averaging a poor 0.95 rating. Another Nordic legend of the game with the official longest tenure on a single team is FaZe Rain. Representing Norway, Rain has been in FaZe Clan for 3,447 days, nearly 9.5 years. He's won 1.6 million in prize money, a Grand Slam, and a career-defining major win and major finals MVP at the Antwerp Major in 2022. He's a 3-time top 20 player, and at his individual peak, Rain was the #4 player in the world in 2017. Although he only sports a 1.01 rating in his career, he's most certainly a playoff riser and a valuable piece in FaZe Clan. In CS2, he can still hang in tier 1, has the X-Factor pop-off at big events, a good soldier that does what is needed. Someone who doesn't do what is needed is Boros from Jordan. His raw aim and ability to click heads was impressive, and it looked like a promising start to a career. Everything was set up perfectly for Boros to make his mark on the biggest stages. Instead, he completely fumbled the opportunity. A damning video surfaced featuring his own coach and teammates calling out his unprofessional behavior. His CS2 journey has continued this troubling pattern. Team after team has given up on him, teammates citing the same issues with professionalism and teamwork. Boros now finds himself on GGHow. While he's clearly smurfing against weaker opponents and putting up insane numbers, the bigger question remains, will he ever learn what it takes to succeed at the top level? A promising talent who truly seized his moment is Belarusian star Tanir. Tanir epitomizes the classic Tier 2 grinder success story. He spent years accumulating $81,000 in winnings across various online qualifiers, CCT tournaments, and suspect casino cups. His persistence finally paid off when Heroic came calling with an international offer. Tanir has been absolutely exceptional. He's quickly established himself as Heroic's standout performer, posting a remarkable 1.23 rating over the past 3 months against the best opposition. With performances like these, Tanir is looking every bit like a genuine star in the making. Mongolia also has a rising star. Senzu is the youngest player on our entire list, but don't let his age fool you. This Mongolian phenom has already earned over $303,000 in prize money. While the Mongols have emerged from nowhere to become a legitimate top 5 team globally, it's Senzu who serves as their engine and primary star. What sets Senzu apart isn't just his incredible raw skill, but his ability to rise to the occasion when it matters most. For much of his early career, he struggled with playoff nerves, often disappearing in crucial matches despite his obvious talent. That all changed at the Blast TV Austin Major, where Senzu delivered one of the most spectacular individual performances in recent memory. He made CS2 major history by dropping 36 frags in regulation, ultimately finishing the match with an absolutely mind-blowing 56 kills. It wasn't just the number that impressed, it was how he completely took over the game, hitting impossible shots and making game-changing plays when his team needed him most. Speaking of elevating your game when it matters most, let's talk about Lithuanian GOAT JL. Despite spending only 2 years in true Tier 1 competition, JL has banked an impressive $494,000 in prize winnings. 2024 was a career-defining year for JL. He didn't just win multiple Tier 1 events, he captured the very first CS2 major at Copenhagen while claiming MVP honors in the process. His clutch gene was so consistent that he earned recognition as the best closer of the year and was ranked the 5th best player in 2024. But JL's impact extends beyond the server too. While most pro players struggle with personal branding, he's mastered the social media game, building a following of hundreds of thousands across platforms. Another player who's mastered the content creation game is America's undisputed GOAT, Jonathan Jablanowski, aka Elige. With hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube and X, and his co-founding of Refrag, Mr. Elige has built an impressive media empire alongside his competitive career. Elige stands as the United States' most decorated Counter-Strike player. Over $1 million in prize money earned, a Grand Slam winner, and a cornerstone of the legendary 2019 Team Liquid era, earning him 6 top 20 finishes and peaking at number 4 player in the world during Liquid's dominant run. When CS2 launched, Elige essentially carried American Counter-Strike on his shoulders while playing for his hometown team Complexity. Despite his elite opening duels and individual brilliance, team success remained elusive. While he only cracked the top 20 once since CS2's release, anyone watching knew he was performing like a top-tier player. Seeking a fresh start in 2025, Elige has made the move to FaZe Clan. While the results haven't quite matched expectations yet, I still have faith he will figure it out. Another player I still believe in is Latvian opper Broky. The 24-year-old appeared from nowhere when FaZe Clan picked him up in 2019. His fearless style and knack for delivering in crucial moments made him a cornerstone of FaZe's roster for nearly 6 years now. Broky achieved everything a Counter-Strike player could dream of. Over $1 million in prize earnings, a major championship, and a Grand Slam victory. 4 straight years as a top 20 player, culminating in an impressive number 8 ranking in 2024. Unfortunately, 2025 has been a nightmare scenario for the Latvian star. The X-Factor ability that made him so dangerous has completely vanished. His performances have become so concerning that FaZe ultimately made the difficult choice to bench him. The next player who's also become familiar with the bench is Polish legend Snax. His career achievements are staggering: 947,000 in tournament winnings, a major championship in 2014, and an incredible 3 consecutive years as a top 5 player in the world. His mechanical skill was genuinely ahead of his time, with elite aim and sneaky playmaking. He also owns one of my favorite clips I watched live.
Oh, Guardian, bye-bye!
Currently, Snax serves as the in-game leader for G2 and stands as the only Polish player on top 30 ranked team. However, Snax has clearly passed his prime, and his tenure with G2 has been challenging. He's become a liability rather than the game-changing force he once was. Another veteran who's seen better days is German legend Tabson. The 30-year-old has dedicated his career to German Counter-Strike, spending the past 8 years with Big Clan and earning $520,000 in tournament prizes. The pinnacle came during the 2020 online era, when Big actually reached number 1 in the world ranking, a remarkable achievement for a domestic team. Unfortunately, the last year and a half has been brutal for the German veteran. He's posting sub 1.0 ratings and struggling to impact games individually. While Tabson never captured a major LAN title or earned HLTV top 20 recognition, his unwavering commitment to German Counter-Strike deserves respect. Someone else who put the region on their back is the Turkish Terminator himself, Zantares. The 29-year-old rifler has earned $568,000 in prize money and was a poster boy of Turkish Counter-Strike. Zantares is known for his insane mechanical skill and raw fragging power. His signature Zantares Peak became a popular meme and Steam group too. In CS2, Zantares has become an absolute demon, helping Eternal Fire make a multitude of playoffs and S-tier events, and finally in 2024, Zantares' individual brilliance was finally recognized on the international stage when he placed in the HLTV top 20 for the first time in his career. Another player who recently was recognized for his crisp aim and talent was Guatemalan sensation Malbs MD. The 22-year-old rifler first gained notoriety at ESL Pro League Season 19, and Malbs exploded onto the scene, especially on the T side. As one of the most aggressive players in Tier 1, he put his crazy headshot precision on display with ridiculous entry fragging, earning him the 12th best player of 2024 and in his very first year in Tier 1 competition. In 2025, he's had quite a huge drop in form, going from a 1.23 rating in 2024 to a 1.09 in 2025. Malbs was supposed to fill the void that Nico left, but it turns out it's pretty hard to replace one of the best riflers of all time. Speaking of the best rifler of all time, the best player from Bosnia is easily Nico. One of the most accomplished players of all time, the 28-year-old has over 1.6 million in tournament winnings, has been a top 20 player for 9 years in a row and being in the top 5 7 of those years. He's also won various S-tier events, multiple event MVPs, and has a record-setting 50 EVP awards. Nico is known for two things, being the GOAT rifler and choking at majors. In fact, Nico has been part of some of the most devastating losses in major history, from choking to Cloud9, to whiffing on Simple, to most recently losing a 5v3 post-plan to MIBR. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Juan Flatro from Kosovo. Despite only having 64,000 in tournament winnings, the most impressive accomplishment was being the best player on the exciting Bad News Eagles team that qualified to 3 straight majors in the latter years of CSGO. So far in CS2, Juan Flatro's most memorable moment is smoking a cigarette after winning a pistol. Another former BNE player is Regon from Switzerland. The 25-year-old rifler was a crucial part of the Eagles' major success and has 87,000 in tournament winnings. Regon has also been the only former BNE player to play at a CS2 major. He was brought on to Big as an explosive firepower upgrade, but was benched after an abysmal 6 months on the team. A player that is a real firepower upgrade is Spinks. The 24-year-old Israeli has 871,000 in prize money earned, is a major champion, and is a top 20 HLTV player 3 years in a row, peaking at number 5 in 2023. Israel has actually produced a ton of top players like Flames, Nerds, and Heavy God, but Spinks easily stands out as the best. He's also a lurker that puts up great stats and has been a driving force in getting Ents, Vitality, and Mouse to each reach top 2 in the world rankings. He has super sharp aim and is one of those players that magically have 20 plus kills at the end of every map. With some of these countries, it's really difficult to choose who's best, just like in the country of China. G, age 20, is the best player from the Chinese region. On my list, he beats out other popular Chinese players like Jamyoung, Zacher, and Starry. And to be fair, G might not be as mechanically strong as these other players, but with the AWP he can be highly impactful, and his performances dipped least among his teammates when they played top-ranked teams. And his cultural impact is off the charts. His infectious positive energy is something that the Chinese scene lacked, and his bubbly personality and willingness to speak in English has made for some of the best interviews in recent memory. Comment down below who you think is the best Chinese player. On the other end of the personality spectrum, we have Australia's JKS. JKS is easily the best Australian player of all time. He was the best player on Australia's #1 team, carrying Renegades to 7 majors, even getting to the semifinals in the 2019 Berlin Major, the best placement ever for an Australian team to date. He was also a 2-time HLTV top 20 player, making him one of the few Aussie players to be picked up to play Tier 1 internationally, playing for teams like Complexity, G2, Liquid, and FaZe, and he has won over 700,000 in tournament prize money. Currently, JKS is benched on Liquid, which is his second time being benched on a team in CS2. Staying in the Oceanic region, New Zealand's best player is Netic. The 21-year-old recently earned the call-up to FlyQuest. With $21,000 in prize money earned, he represents the new generation of Oceanic talent breaking through. The Czech Republic is home to Oscar. At 34 years old, this Czech opper stands as the oldest player on our list. Back in his prime, Oscar was a top 5 opper in the world during his peak years, earning back-to-back HLTV top 20 rankings while playing for Mousesports. He earned over $374,000 in tournament prizes in his career, and since 2018, Oscar's career has taken him through a revolving door of tier 2 organizations, bouncing between random teams. In CS2 so far, he's been farming lower tier competition and maintaining his status as the Czech Republic's best player. The Netherlands currently has 0 players playing for an organization. In fact, only 2 Dutch players have competed in official CS2 matches, Vasher and Crucial. I went with Crucial to represent the region. While the 28-year-old opper has never escaped tier 2 competition, he's the definition of a grinder, earning over $100,000 in prize money and playing an incredible 371 official CS2 matches on HLTV. Another player familiar with the grind is North Macedonian IGL, Kiksan. Kiksan clawed his way up from the depths of tier 2 Counter-Strike to become a respected in-game leader at the highest level. His rise has been meteoric, first leading Apex to a top 4 finish in Paris. Then in CS2, he joined Heroic, making them a solid tier 1 team. Now with Team Falcons, he's calling the shots for a squad that can genuinely rival Vitality. Kiksan has earned over $286,000 in prize winnings and is qualified to 4 straight majors. Not only does he have solid strategies, he's also mechanically pretty good too. Speaking of in-game leaders and their individual performance, let's talk about Finland's Alexi B. Alexi B is a respected in-game leader who's played for some of Counter-Strike's most storied organizations. With $837,000 in prize earnings, his resume speaks to how desirable his leadership is. Alexi B led Navi to the first ever CS2 major championship as massive underdogs. Remarkably, they actually lost more rounds than they won throughout the tournament and still lifted the trophy. This success earned him IGL of the Year honors in 2024, as Navi won multiple tier 1 events and consistently reached the finals under his leadership. So far in 2025, it's been rough. Individually, Alexi B has been atrocious, and the team has tumbled down the rankings and is now looking to make roster changes. Speaking of those potential roster moves in Navi, Romania's best player Immer is rumored to be on the chopping block. He was the standout star from the Blast Paris Major in 2023. However, since joining Navi in CS2, Immer hasn't been able to recapture that superstar level performance he showcased in Gamer Legion. He has $500,000 in tournament prizes earned, a major champion, and was the 16th best player in the world in 2024. He also made history by becoming the only player to play in the final of the last CSGO major and the final of the first CS2 major. Another player that consistently makes history is the French superstar ZywOo. Quite simply the most dominant force in modern Counter-Strike. Dubbed the Chosen One, his combination of insane trade fragging, cheater-like game sense, and ridiculous ratings across every metric has elevated him to GOAT status. ZywOo consistently performs at a level that's literally unfair. At 24 years old, he has $1.4 million in prize money earned, a Grand Slam winner, 2-time major champion and 2-time major MVP, 6 straight years as a top 3 player, including being number 1 3 times. With 27 big event MVP awards and 32 EVPs, he's collected hardware at an unprecedented rate. Currently, ZywOo's the best player on Vitality in the midst of what looks like their own era of dominance, having won 7 straight events and threatened to rival Astralis' legendary run. Speaking of GOATs, Ukraine is home to the legendary Simple. Perhaps one of the most recognizable names in all of esports, Simple is the Counter-Strike icon. With $1.5 million in prize money earned, he's been the driving force behind some of the most memorable moments in competitive gaming. He's a Grand Slam winner, 8-time HLTV top 20 player with 3 number 1 rankings, 21 MVP awards, major champion and major MVP, plus multiple player of the year honors. What sets Simple apart isn't just the statistics, it's his unmistakable aura. His signature shaky aim and insane plays that only he can deliver makes him a true superstar. While he hasn't played much CS2, his brief appearances have been electric. His short stint with FaZe Clan broke viewership records, and although he hasn't fully adapted to CS2's mechanics and competitive meta, he showed flashes of vintage Simple at the recent Austin Major. Hopefully we see Simple fully back in action sooner rather than later. As we go just west of Ukraine, we got Frozen, a 22-year-old rifler from Slovakia. Frozen is the youngest player to record a match on HLTV when he was just 13 years old. And despite being only 22 right now, he's already a veteran in the game with nearly a decade of competitive experience. most notably playing for Mousesports and FaZe Clan. He has won 700k in prize money and has been a top 20 HOTV player for the past 3 years. Another talent that was developed by Mousesports is Hungarian opper Torzi. Torzi is one of the first graduates of the We Play Academy system. While his transition to Tier 1 competition had some rough patches initially, he slowly blossomed into a solid and reliable opper. He has helped Mouse capture several decent trophies, earning over $540,000 in prize money. And in 2024, he snuck into the HOTV top 20 players list. Moving to Bulgaria, we have Cirque, perhaps the most impactful EU opper that ever played in NA. During his prime, he helped Evil Geniuses reach number 1 in HOTV rankings twice, winning multiple events and $430,000 in prize money, and even ranked as the number 18 best player in 2019. In CS2, he's grinding Tier 2 competition with Bulgarian Squad 500. Another player currently grinding in Tier 2 is Nevera from Belgium. Nevera's breakout moment came as Vitality's 6th man. He was a promising young hybrid opper who actually showed real promise as their tactical substitute. But when Valorant's Gold Rush hit in 2021, Nevera made the jump to Riot's new shooter to team up with his brother Scream. Now in 2025, Nevera has returned to Counter-Strike. Another player trying to reprove himself in Tier 2 is Kazakhstani legend Hobbit. The 31-year-old veteran has built quite an impressive resume over his lengthy career, earning $862,000 in prize money and achieving recognition as a top 20 player twice, even reaching as high as number 6 in 2021. He made history in 2017 when he helped Gambit become the first CIS team ever to win a major championship. However, CS2 has been rough. Hobbit was benched from Cloud9 and currently grinding Tier 2 Counter-Strike with 1 win. Another player who has had a long career is Muteres, representing Portugal. With $150,000 in tournament winnings, Muteres has been grinding Counter-Strike since the 1.6 days, with records on Liquipedia dating back to 2009. His persistence finally paid off when he led his team to qualify for the first CS2 major. More importantly, this marked the first time a Portuguese team has ever qualified for any major in history. Muteres' longevity and dedication to Portuguese esports makes him the best player from Portugal in my opinion. South Africa's Counter-Strike scene is very small, and it boils down to just 2 names: Sonic and JT. While Sonic has better individual statistics, JT has built a more impressive career as an IGL. JT has played for organizations like Cloud9, Extrasalt, and now Complexity, and with over $250,000 in prize money earned throughout his career, JT has become a respected tactical mind and one of the only new-gen in-game leaders in North America. Speaking of North America, we have the NA GOAT hailing from Canada, Twists. Twist boasts an absolutely crazy resume that puts him in legendary territory. Until this year, he was the only player to win 2 separate ESL Grand Slams. He was an integral piece to 2 dominant teams. He's earned over $1.3 million in prize money, is a major winner, 5-time HOTV top 20 player, and is widely regarded as one of the best aimers with super crisp headshots. However, CS2 has been a weird chapter for the Canadian superstar. He made the weird decision to take on in-game leadership, which has been an absolute disaster. While he's still mechanically elite, the results have been pretty mediocre and disappointing for somebody of his caliber. Another player who has great skills but has had a weird time in CS2 is Spanish opper Sampayas. The 26-year-old is actually still fairly new to professional CS. He played his very first LAN in 2021. And in just a few short years, he's already earned $313,000 in prize money. The Spaniard burst onto the scene in 2023. His impact was so significant, he was ranked the number 6 player in the world. But when the Ents core got bought by Falcons, things went downhill fast, and Sampayas didn't accomplish much during his time there. In 2025, Sampayas joined Heroic and reminded everyone why he was once considered elite, and that impressive showing caught G2's attention, earning him a call-up for the upcoming season. From Montenegro comes Madden, representing the least populated country on this entire list. Despite coming from such a tiny nation, Madden has earned a respectable $335,000 in prize money as a support rifler. Throughout CS2, Madden has averaged an unimpressive 1.0 in rating, and currently he's back grinding Tier 2 with 0 tenacity. Representing Serbia, we have Nexa with $481,000 in prize money earned. Nexa is most famous for his tumultuous relationship with G2 across 2 separate stints. During his first tenure with G2, Nexa served as the in-game leader. Under his leadership, the team reached prestigious PGL Major Stockholm. When Nexa returned to G2 for his second stint, everything had changed. No longer the IGL, he was relegated to a support role where he became the lowest rated player on the roster and was ineffective as an anchor. So far in CS2, Nexa finds himself in the Tier 2 gauntlet, playing for various teams. Another player who went from IGL to anchor is the United Kingdom's best talent Mezzi. As IGL, Messi's greatest accomplishment was reaching the quarterfinals of the Rio Major. However, when he transitioned to anchor roles was where he shined. But what sets Messi apart is his humble personality and willingness to do whatever it takes for the team. This selfless approach is exactly what makes him such an effective anchor and a major part of Vitality's current dominance. His sacrifice has been rewarded handsomely. He's earned $740,000 in prize money, captured a Grand Slam, and made history in Austin by becoming the first UK player to lift a major trophy. Representing Argentina, we have Thomason, a player whose major debut was unfortunately derailed by circumstances beyond his control. Thomason is an aggressive rifler who's exciting to watch. Against domestic competition, Thomason constantly puts up impressive numbers and was the driving factor behind Bestia's major qualifying run. Staying in South America, Chile's best player, Davideus, represents another exciting rifling talent from the region. Davideus has consistently impressed against South American competition. His crisp headshots and entry fragging create immense impact in early rounds, often setting the tone for his team's success. With $99,000 in prize money earned, he's built his reputation across various South American organizations, including 9Z, Red Canids, and currently Pain. Speaking of Pain, they recently added a closer in DGT. With $123,000 in prize earnings, DGT stands as the best player from Uruguay. He's a lurker who consistently puts up impressive numbers. DGT was the cornerstone of 9Z for 6 years, where he averaged a monster 1.17 rating that showcased his consistent impact at the highest level of South American Counter-Strike. This season, DGT made the move to Pain and has impressed tremendously. Russia is home to the most stacked Counter-Strike talent pool in the world. Even with absolute beasts like Modesty, Shiro, and Electronic, the clear-cut number 1 in Russia is Donk. At just 18 years old, Donk was the most hyped prospect since LeBron James entered the NBA, and he absolutely delivered. His first S-tier event in Katowice was legendary, demolishing everyone with multi-frags every single round. The numbers are simply absurd. In his first full year, Donk earned $632,000 in prize money, captured 8 MVPs, is a major champion and MVP, and became the number 1 player in the world as a rookie. He swept literally every award: Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Highlight of the Year, and Opener of the Year. But even these incredible achievements undersell how good he is. Donk made history as the youngest major winner and MVP ever. With a 1.49 rating, he surpassed Simple to become the highest rated player in major history. And beyond the statistics, Donk has revolutionized CS2 rifling and pioneered groundbreaking movement techniques. The Donk slide is movement that allows the player to shoot accurately while being harder to hit, and has become essential for modern riflers. Quite possibly the best player we'll ever see touch the game, and he's only in his sophomore season. The future of Counter-Strike is in very good hands. Make sure to subscribe and comment what country you guys are from.